Making a recumbent bicycle from an old BMX, this time on bike physics. So the idea is that you take a BMX, short wheelbase, 20-inch wheels, and you put a boom on the front end of it, attached somehow to that head tube with a bottom bracket. Put on a seat and a tall handlebar, or a seat and a really low handlebar. And try to make sure that you can run that chain cleanly. And you have your first BMX that lots of people can ride. This was my first recumbent bicycle from about 2 decades ago. The seat back is a backpack frame, the seat base is plywood, and I had no idea how to weld. So I chopped the head tube in half and used a muffler clamp and just clamped it onto the other head tube. That boom tube is from a BMX. It's the down tube and the seat tube and half the head tube. The angles worked out pretty well and it didn't flex too horribly. I was enamored with under seat steering because I had ridden a couple of those, so I rigged this thing up with a bunch of hardware store bolts and right angles and zip ties. I didn't crash, and it's really nice not to have your handlebar disturbing your view. Here's version 2. I still couldn't weld, so I took it to a muffler shop and had them do some whatever kind of welding they did. And it's really sloppy and messy, but it did kind of hold together. Chopped off the top of that seat tube, used a couple of U-bolts to hold the seat base made of plywood. Those clamps are for the verticals. That's a chain tensioner that I put in. Here's the front end, the closer view of the welds. They're really big and sloppy and yucky and messy, but they worked all right. I put that reinforcement in. The jig I supplied the guy was kind of pathetic, and he just did it on the floor of the shop, and it was really nice of him, and he didn't charge me anything, and he thought it was, I think, a pretty interesting project, so he just did it. Another U-clamp. I know that some of you hate me now because this was a classic BMX and it was kind of cool. But whatever, it's what I had. I had to spread the rear triangle to fit the multi-speed hub, and those clamps are for the seat back supports. The adjustability for leg length was all built into that boom tube. There was an insert with another bottom bracket, slit all the way down with a couple of clamps holding it on so I could adjust the length in that way. That was my second one, but I still have this crazy love for this silly little first attempt. So if you want one of these things, just take whatever skills you have and put something together and play with it. It really is a good time.